you don't know, right? Like I didn't know what entrepreneurship was. I didn't know what, being self-employed was. I didn't know that world until I became exposed to it, until I started surrounding myself amongst the people that were doing it. And once I got a taste of it, once I got a taste of freedom, in a sense to where if I want to take a vacation for a week, I can literally do business in Hawaii, in Puerto Rico, in wherever the heck they have internet. And even if they don't have internet, they got a phone.
So here's the real mystery. How do regular folks like you and me, who have families and real lives, who have careers and regular 9-to-5s, really fare in the personal finance game? Why are some hugely successful while others fail miserably time and time again? Those are the glaring questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. This is EmpowerYou Financial with Eva Palacios.
All right, and welcome to another episode of EmpowerYou Financial with Eva Palacios. My name is Charles McGill. I'm your host. So excited to be talking to you guys today. But before we get started, got to make sure the credit boss, aka credit coach, is in the building. It's Eva Palacios. You in the house?
Yes. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I'm
awesome.
Good.
Yeah,
I had a great week.
Did you?
Great week.
Tell me about it.
Such a good week. I don't know. Where do I start? I don't know.
Well, that's
I can't even remember the week. All I know is it was great. It was great. It's so crazy because you were on vacation and I didn't really feel like you were on vacation, but I also made it on purpose, like not to be bugging you. Cause I'm like, he's on vacation. Like I don't need him right this second. But then you started messaging me. I'm like, okay, so is this a good time I should message him or not? But I just felt like, even if Charles was gone, like we were still busy.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was cool because like you could be anywhere in the world working and I didn't feel no different. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. I was supposed to be on vacation. I will say it was a vacation. But I told my wife early on, I was like, well, there's certain things I'm still going to do for work. Because we're just not at a place in our businesses where me with what I do for the businesses, I can be totally detached. We're not there yet. So I told her there's still some meetings I have to take. There's still going to be some things I have to do. So we tried to figure all that out. But I mean, in terms of the vacation itself, it was a good time. It was a great time. We had a great time in Atlanta. We spent a whole week there, which was like super cool. Like,
yeah. What'd you do? I've never been. So
yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. We mentioned that. And
I see it all over my social media. I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely something I got to go do.
Yeah. You definitely got to visit. We did a lot of family stuff. My wife has lots of family there. Well, more family than I realized there. And so we weren't like the things I had planned, the things that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to meet up with some of my clients because I have like lots of clients there too. Like and it was like as I started thinking about it, I had like more clients I even like could think of, on top of my head. There was like more and more like, oh yeah, that's right. So there's like tons of people I wanted to meet up with. I have some family there too.
Yeah.
But basically my wife had the whole week planned out. So I didn't really get to do anything that I wanted to do. So, sorry to all my clients. Sorry. I'll come back another time and, I'll make it special for them. But no, we just did a lot of family stuff. Just, we had my son's 4th birthday party, Malcolm, youngest one, in Atlanta. And it was amazing. I will say, yeah, hats off to my wife for planning a really, really fun, like super fun birthday party for him.
I'm going to hire her for my next party planning event.
You might want to. What did you
do?
Well, so we went to this place called, I think it's called Urban Air. And it's like it's a kids zone kind of thing where it has like all these like trampoline park. It has like all like, it's like a kind of like a Ninja Warrior kind of setup where
really
different stuff. They got the ball, those balls they can jump in and foam things they can jump in, and balance
like a little
beams and
obstacle course and stuff.
obstacle course. They had you can
Oh.
I think it's called a glider. You can, you know, glide around the top part of the whole park and fly around. And then they had go-karts too that were like 2 levels, like so it was like it was a lot. And then they had good food. They had good pizza and wings, and my wife got this huge cake for him. So it was just like well, it wasn't that huge, but it was just a custom cake. And it was just fun. It was just like we went there, and it was just like we spent hours there. And then even when we were like trying to leave, my sons were like, no, can we just keep going? And we were like, actually, let's go some more, and so it was just a really, really fun time. That's all I mean, as far as anything else, well, we had one date night, which was awesome. Yeah, just one. I was hoping for a few more, but we had one date night, and we were able to actually sit down and have some a really nice meal. Some
adult time.
Some adult time. It was really nice. It reminded us of when we were dating. It was so funny because we sat down. It was a really nice Caribbean restaurant, and I mean, just really nice ambiance and the music and the whole vibe. And we just. Did
you dress up?
No, not really. I mean, well, more than we normally would. I guess we kind of cleaned up a little bit.
I mean, not like tuxedos and stuff, but
no. Yeah. I mean, we were going out, so it was fine. And and it was good. It was just a really good vibe, just looking across the table, looking in my wife's eyes and just remembering, kind of how we got here. Yeah, it was really nice. It was really nice. And had some drinks and everything. And then afterwards we were both like, done with our meal. We both had a great meal. And they were like, I thought there was like a club like attached to it or something. I asked him, I was like, is this a club? Or he said, well, it's like a lounge / club thing. And I said, okay, cool. Let's check it out.
Is there a bar?
Definitely a bar. So we went upstairs to that thing, and it was nice. It was really nice. It was like,
did you take like videos and pictures? Like, I didn't see none of this stuff anywhere on neither of y'all's Facebook.
No, we didn't. No, because we were there. That's all we.
I wasn't there. Like, I need to see this stuff. Like, I didn't be like, I want to go there next time.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. We didn't think about it. Neither of us. We didn't have our phones out.
You guys drive me crazy. Like, that's what happened when you went to Miami. I'm like, man.
Yeah, I
don't like when I don't see stuff.
I gotta remember to do that. I just don't think about it. Like, I never. We're sitting there. I'm just trying to,
so crazy. Enjoy the moment. I get it. Enjoy the moment. And just like, but even afterwards, like when I went hiking last week, like I lost connection. Like I couldn't post at all. Like once we got service, I had like 82 messages, but it was beautiful being in the moment. But as soon as I was done and I got service, I'm like, post.
Yeah.
And then look, everybody's like, oh my God, you're at a waterfall. Like, where is that at? I'm like, oh, it's like in the Bay Area. And they're like, what? I didn't even know. See?
I guess it's just my introvert self. I don't know. I don't, I'm good. Like, and so anyway, but the funny thing is that we were in this lounge. It was really nice. And we were like, okay, do we want to sit here and vibe out, get another drink, just kind of vibe. And people were there, and you could tell they wanted to like, talk and mingle. It's just one of those environments. It's a whole lot of like, cool people around our age. And we looked at each other and we were like,
my vibe. I need to be in there talking to everybody, making friends, like on everybody's social media.
You would have. But we looked at each other and we were like,
let's go
home. Best decision ever. So we both were tired. And so we went home. We had a good laugh. We watched a show and fell asleep. It was good though. We had a good time.
I'd be out to like 4 a.m.
Yeah, no. Maybe next time without the boys. If we did not have the boys, I can see that happening.
Yeah, we need our grown-up vacation.
We need a grown-up. Yeah,
grown-up vacation.
Absolutely,
grown-up business trip.
Yeah, definitely. And so, but the one thing we appreciated most about this trip, was just the fact that we were, finally in a position where it was like, it wasn't, we weren't nervous about anything. Like we got an Airbnb, we had like an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, had 2 masters. It was nice. We had a nice rental car. It was like a Ford Explorer. It was like a new one. We got it from Turo, but it was, nice. It was just like, everything went very
Flowed.
smooth. Everything flowed.
Yeah.
Everything was like comfortable. And the boys, like when they got into the apartment, they were like, Dad, it's just kind of like our home, you know? And it was like, no, but it's kind of supposed to feel that way, right? It's supposed to, you know, and so they had plenty of room to just, you know, do what they normally would do, you know, play and, you know, so anyway, it was a really good time. And the one cool thing about it too, is that, you know, we weren't thinking about things like, you know, our vacation time. We weren't thinking about like, I mean, we knew we had to come back at some point because my wife has a daycare business. So obviously she needs to come back to be there for the families that she serves. But we were just like pretty, you know, like happy with the fact that we both were entrepreneurs and, you know, kind of on our own time.
Freedom.
You know? Yeah. You know, I mean, to some extent, not the whole thing yet, because like I said,
but you got a taste of it.
We got a taste of it.
You got a taste of it. And you're like, oh, how do I get this forever?
Yeah. Cause I was building, you know, cause I was able to still take meetings. But then there were some I was able to be like, you know what, actually, but these couple of days I'm gonna dedicate to just, you know, our family. Yeah. And you know, I have, you know, an awesome assistant that helps me like, hey, let's just block off this time from your calendar.
Shout out to the assistant.
That's right. Woo-hoo. And so, you know, it felt good. It felt good. And so I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about this because I noticed that during the same time that I was, you know, on vacay, you were having certain posts that seemed pretty consistent around
like Charles left me, now I got to do work.
Making sure you're your own boss, right? Making sure you're your own boss, because you were kind of talking about, you know, just how you're not in control unless you know, own it yourselves. Yeah. And so, you know, for the good and the bad, me and my wife realized that too, because we've had some ups and downs, especially with her daycare business and with COVID, but still, we're still in control, right? Like my wife controls how many children she wants to serve, what families, you know, like how much she wants to charge. She it's all her decisions, right? With me, it's the same kind of thing, and it's an amazing kind of thing when you have that kind of freedom. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about that, just to kind of first figure out why you were, you know, kind of feeling that this week, if you don't mind sharing a little bit of that, and then also to help out our people, you know, with, you know, just some of the ideas of entrepreneurship, because I know that for some people it's a struggle for different reasons. So we'll get into all that. But just tell me a little bit about like what's been on your mind this week. Why are you posting so much about entrepreneurship?
Actually, there was two reasons, two main real reasons for that inspiration. Number one, well, let me kind of take it back. Last week, you know, on whatever day it was, California announced no masks. And, you know, on my social media feed, I saw some really, really happy people. And then I saw some really, really sad people. And the sad people were like, I'm going to miss working from home because now I got to go back to the office and work. Now I got to do that commute. Now I don't get to be at home working and getting paid. And I just thought to myself, man, like for the past 7 years, I've been an entrepreneur. But even before that, I had already been working from home with the job that I had for 10 years. So really, it's been about 20 years that I've been working from home. And this is all that I know. So, you know, with the pandemic, everybody shifted to working from home, or some lost their jobs. And all I can think of is, as long as someone is cutting your paycheck, you are never in control. You are never in control. No matter how much money this company or these jobs pay people, you aren't in control. So then I just really started thinking about, who are the happy people? All the people that I know who are very happy are the entrepreneurs. You know, yeah, there's going to be down times when, you know, business isn't great, or you got to shift, or you got to learn to adapt because something's happened. But at the end of the day, they get to call the shots. And those are the happiest people that I know. I'm like, who do I know that has a job that's super happy? I can't think of any. So that was one example.
Okay.
And another example was a company that I've partnered with. They just sold, and most people freak out. And let's be real. Yeah. If a company sells or a company goes through a merger, there's always going to be fear and panic, because the first thing you're thinking of is, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to my money?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen to my paycheck? What's going to happen to, everything that I've learned? Now I may have to either find something else or adapt to the new company's ways. So for me, I'm like, it's smooth sailing, because I'm like, I'm already used to that. I'm like, okay, well, our company sold to another company, which this new company is like huge. We literally were nationwide, US only, but now because of this buyout, that gives us the opportunity to be worldwide in like 14 countries, something crazy. And while other people are freaking out, I'm like, sure, pay me to go to Europe. I get to write it off as a business expense. Let's go to Paris and let's go find some people we can talk to. And I guess it's just a different way of thinking. It's just a different way of thinking, So some people are panicking because of that. And I'm just like, let's go. Like, how are we going to make this work in our favor?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So two things. There was a merger going on, and then also just kind of thinking about the fact that, you just don't have your own, you don't control anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into this a little bit more, because one thing that, because I think that some people, when they hear entrepreneurship, and it's almost like, it seems like that's the holy grail, right? That's the ultimate, place to be in terms of your finances.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to to a degree, I want to push back on a little bit on that.
Yeah.
Well, one reason why is because if everyone's the owner, who's going to work? Right. So at some point, we got to have some people who are playing the part of being the assistant, or being the manager.
They're not the owner.
They're not the owner, right?
Yes.
Right. Because everybody just be self-employed everywhere, right?
Right.
So that's one thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, is there a way that you can have both, right? Where, you basically, you have the 9-to-5 that's providing you the income that you need, but you also are, setting yourself up in a certain way financially, where you still have the options to do some of the things that you want, right?
Yes, both. All of it.
Okay. Yeah. Because this whole thing is about living life on your own terms.
Absolutely.
For some people, they don't want to be the boss. For some people,
that is true. Some people aren't meant to be the boss.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's totally okay, because it then comes down to, who you are as an individual, and what environment are you in that you can thrive. Mm-hmm. Some people thrive at being bosses. Others thrive at being, IT people, or other types of people.
Yes.
So this world can't all be filled with bosses. That would be madness.
Exactly. And so here's the thing too, but I think even within your position, whatever you have, whatever that is, you still have agency, right?
Yeah.
So even if you are playing the support role, even if you're playing the, whatever role you're playing, you still have agency to live life on your own terms. Now, while you may not have all the power to determine how much money you're making, you still have the power to determine how you're managing your money.
Yes.
Okay. So
absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about that. So we got two different types of people out there that, that are part of our community. We got those who are entrepreneurs like you and I, who have left our 9-to-5s and we're totally dependent on ourselves and our own thing. And then we have those who are still working 9-to-5s, but still looking to live life on their own terms. Right.
Absolutely.
So let's talk to the 9-to-5ers right now. So can you share, some of the ways in which they could, like, say leaving their job is not an option. For maybe one or two reasons, right?
Well, yeah, you can't just leave a job and have like nothing to fall back on. Like that would be insane. That would be a financial disaster.
Yes. So that, and they don't want to. So let's say
that's true too. Yeah.
Let's put them in the same bucket, right? Let's just say that's not an option, right?
Okay.
So what do you say to them, and how can you encourage them to still be in control, if you will, financially?
Right. So let's take it back to my story. I'd been at the job for, 17 years, but on year number 15, that's when I got exposed to network marketing, and I didn't know what it was. And, but I started learning, people started pouring into me, sending me YouTube videos, let's go to this seminar. Let's go check out this guy. Let's go see this person speak. So little by little, my mindset was changing because people were just dripping, information on me. And I didn't know what it was, but I loved how it sounded. I loved how it made me feel. I loved, it gave me inspiration. It empowered me. It gave me a lot more information than I ever even knew this world had. So every time someone gave me something, I would literally just put it in my back pocket, And then I started finding myself now being addicted to, I want to learn more. I want to know more. So while I was working, still my 9-to-5, still being a mom, by this time, 3 boys, 2 of them were in Taekwondo full-time. Like I was crazy busy, but I knew I wanted something different. Like, being in the financial world, we're always telling people like, you got to have a backup plan. You got to make sure, you're saving your money for a rainy day and all of that good stuff. So I sacrificed my 1-hour lunch break. Like I literally scarfed down my food in 5 to 7 minutes. And the next 53 minutes, I would just be absorbing stuff or talking to people or making phone calls and getting on conference calls and just listening to stuff. And I did that every single day, 1 hour a day. Every single day, 5 days a week, weekends, hubby's like, yo, you need to be with the family. And I'm like, okay. But like secretly, I'd be like watching a YouTube video. But every day I was consistent and persistent because I was like, there has to be more. There has to be more than just, being at this job. I loved my job. I wasn't going anywhere. Shoot, I spent 15 years there. I was counting my bonuses and my annual raises until I was 50 years in. But because I was exposed to new information, I'm like, wait a minute, this sounds way better. So I was just consistently learning and surrounding myself amongst other people. Then I got involved with a network marketing company. And then.
Well, hold on. How long did you said your hour lunch break you sacrificed?
Yes.
And how long did you do that?
I did that. So mind you, I was working the whole time, but I sacrificed my 1-hour lunch break to learn a new skill set, to intake information, and to build a business. I did that for 18 months straight. 18 months straight. And thank goodness that I did, because that is when my company went through a merger and new CEO came on board, gave us some crazy ultimatums. And at that point is where I had to decide, am I going to still sacrifice and work at this job now that I have to make a 5-hour commute round trip? Or am I going to now be laser focused 120% on this business to build our dreams? And that's what I did. So 18 months put us in a position to where I was able to walk away from now the 17-year career.
So, so were you earning money from the side hustle while you also were working your full time?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that was even better. I mean, that was like icing on the cake, because now I'm getting paid for the information that I've been learning the entire time. And then along the way, I'm teaching other people how to do what I did. And then that just added more fuel to the fire, because now I'm helping other people do the same thing, walking away from their jobs. And I'm like, what is happening right now?
So I think that's really important to hear, because I know, like, for me, like I've tried You know this. I've tried several MLMs
Yeah.
before we met. Like several, and none of them have panned out for me. Well, and I can say this though, I never spent an hour a day for 18 months to make it work.
Right?
I never did that.
Right. And that's where you really got to self-reflect and really see, well, what are you doing to help you get to that next level? Mm-hmm. Because there's so many people that have tried lots of things, lots of companies, lots of network marketing companies, direct sale companies. And they're like, it doesn't work. But did you actually put the time in to see if it doesn't work? Maybe you just weren't working it, or maybe it just wasn't the right product, service, or company that you didn't mesh well with. Just because you tried one, don't mean they all don't work. You just got to find the right one that works, or find the right company of people with the right culture who's going to help you build this business. Because there are some companies that are out there that just sign people up and just let them be and hope everything's going to build all by itself. No, it's a business with anything. If you want to make money, like, you got to work. But it is definitely helpful if you have the right mentor and team behind you to help you build this business. It'll make it easier. And I was fortunate that I was surrounded by people that really cared and wanted to see me succeed. So I was like, all right, let's go. Let's see how much money we can make and how high up the ranks we can get.
Yep.
And that also was super key for me, because I was at my job and I was stuck. I was stuck. I wasn't going to make any more money unless I jumped into management level. Well, guess what? All the managers and supervisors that were there, they've been with the company for 20, 30 years. They're not going anywhere. So unless one of them left, then maybe I had an opportunity to fill that spot. Maybe. I say maybe. Why? Because it's you against everybody else. But what I love about network marketing is it's based on your efforts. Your efforts. If you want to get to the top and you know the blueprint on how to get there, you can get there on your own efforts. You don't have to wait for somebody to be like, yeah, good job, Eve. Okay, now you get promoted. Nope. You can do it yourself.
Well, I think that's a key thing too, though. I mean, that doesn't, I don't think it's said enough. So when people say it's a business, treat it like a business, when you're not someone who's owned your own business, you have no clue what that means. You have no clue what that means. I know. Which is why it's so important to be surrounded amongst other people that have been there and done that. Which is why I think, all of that, everything that has happened before EmpowerYou, I honestly believe prepared me for this moment. Because had I just been from a place of, okay, I'm walking away from the 17-year career, I can take all that information and let's just build a business. I didn't have no business building people to help me do that. Like, if I would have attempted to do it at that point, I probably would have failed. I probably would be bankrupt from that business. Mm-hmm. So I'm just so grateful and thankful that I was surrounded amongst the right people on how to build teams, how to love on people, how to know what people's talents and skills are so that you know what place to put them so that we can work together in a smooth fashion and not be bumping heads or arguing or who knows, crazy chaos. But man, it's amazing what can happen when you learn some stuff. Yeah. And now look at what we've got. We've got a thriving business that we're just like, everybody's like, man, I just see you leveling up. And I'm like, it's because I surround myself amongst the right people to help us all rise to the top. Yep.
Hey, quick break here. Sorry to interrupt the podcast. We'll get you right back to it. We just want to spend a few seconds to talk about the EmpowerYou financial group on Facebook. This is Eva's private Facebook group where she gives free tips, tricks, and strategies to improve your financial situation. Join the over 1,000 plus member community and see the success stories of people just like you who want to live life on their own terms. Come laugh with us, tell your story, and share your victories. Just search EmpowerYou Financial in Facebook and join our free private group. Oh, and be sure to invite a friend.
Well, I think also too, like you just reminded me, like my background too. I've, and when I was a teacher, that was one thing, but I was a dean. I was at a founding school. So we actually were the first staff in that building. So we had a lot of the kind of like, building it from the ground up type of mentality because we were literally the first. And so, kind of letting that foundation. Then when I became a principal, I was a CEO of, I had 80 employees, I had 800 students, I had a $10 million budget.
It's a lot of people and a lot of money to be responsible for.
Exactly. So, but learning that and knowing that and also doing well with that, I think prepared me as well for what I'm doing now, because like even my first business as the, with the preschool and the daycare, I just put on my principal hat again and said, okay, I need to establish certain things. We need to create certain systems. There's certain things that need to be in place in order for this to thrive. We need to market. We need to put people in position and who does what role. And we figured all that out. And then we were able to execute. So one thing I want to kind of help people out a little bit with, hopefully, because I want to encourage folks, because sometimes you said something important there, like, they may start this journey around network marketing or some other opportunity, and they're not successful right out the bat, right? They're struggling with it, and they don't understand why.
Yeah.
What they need to hear is they need to understand, like, there's a way to go about this. And you similar to me, we had certain experiences that prepared us for that leap, right?
Yeah.
And even if you don't have necessarily a job right now, let's say you're in a position where you're not necessarily a manager, or, you're not in that kind of position. So you're like, well, I don't have, what Charles might have had, which is that training to learn how to run a business.
Yep.
You could still take, I think, your approach, which is to say, I'm just going to, make the time and just learn it. And
sacrifice.
And when I think about it is, how many times, okay, so this is what I think is really powerful. When we try to, we get often just discouraged about opening business because we're like, I don't know what to do, right? I'm unfamiliar with this. This seems foreign to me. But I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, pretty much every opportunity you've ever had, every job you've ever had was foreign to you.
Right? Like, your first job, when you step foot in that job, you don't know everything from day one.
Exactly.
You gotta learn it.
You gotta learn it.
But you better be willing to learn it, because if the boss doesn't see that you're willing, you're out of there.
Yeah.
But if you stick around long enough and you learn it, you will be successful.
Exactly.
So many people are so quick to give up on their dreams or give up on building a business. Why are you giving up? You didn't give up when you went to that job.
Exactly.
You're still there.
Yeah.
That means that you've got grit. That means you got what it takes. Now it's just a matter of, do you want to build a business or not?
There it is, right? And I think that that's important for folks to hear, that they can apply the same level of tenacity that they had when they were first learning that job to their own business. The only difference now is that, there's some key differences, right? One, when you guys decide to do this on your own and you're doing your own business, no one is going to make you do nothing.
That's right. Ain't nobody telling you, hey, Eva, I think you slept long enough, or I think you better get off YouTube and actually get to work, or hey, you better get off the couch. Ain't nobody telling you what to do.
Nobody checking on you. Right. That's it. So you decide, exactly like your point. If you decide to sleep it away and phone it in, okay.
Yeah.
If you decide to bust your behind and really work hard, okay. No one cares, right? No one is.
It's so true. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So I don't know what I was listening to the other day, but they're like, you have a bad day? Nobody cares. If you decide to call out sick, nobody cares. And I'm like, dang, that is so true. Like, yeah, you're right. You are you're the only one you can depend on.
That's it.
So like, you better get it together.
So that was one thing that was hard for me, right? Because there'd be times where I would have, really great days. I'd be killing it. Yeah. No one was there to pat me on the back.
I know.
No one was there to recognize me. No one cares, right? And then also adversely, when I would, have some bad days, it. So that's one thing that people need to understand. The second thing that people understand is that you only eat what you kill.
That is true.
Meaning,
don't be caught starving.
There is no paycheck coming. It ain't coming every 2 weeks, and that is a harsh reality. You don't know when you're gonna get paid.
No.
You have no clue.
You might not get paid this week, this month.
Exactly.
Next 6 months.
And here's the thing: even if you do kill it, you still may not get paid. Because the thing is, like when he was laughing, y'all, because she knows what I'm talking about. There are times
all that hard work, dang it.
You do everything
We're gonna
you're
be in the
supposed
poorhouse
to do.
this month.
That's right. And you still not getting paid. Or at least not yet, right? Because sometimes there's things that happen, like, I've had situations where it's like, man, I thought I was gonna get all this money, and for whatever reason,
nope,
it's not coming. Not that never, but it's just not gonna come now. Yeah. So whatever I had already spent in my mind ain't gonna happen. I gotta figure out another way. So those are two big things that people need to get over. One, no one is checking for you.
Nobody cares.
No one cares. And two, you don't know when you getting paid. So with those two things in mind, Eva, that don't sound that great. A job sounds pretty amazing. That is not attractive. A job sounds pretty amazing. I have to say.
And that's, I don't know. I just think that you got to experience it. It's funny because somebody on social media said the other day, what did they say? They said something along the lines of, you're afraid to be an entrepreneur, and I'm afraid to get a job. And I thought to myself, that is so true. Like, if this didn't work out, I might just be homeless because I ain't going to go back to a job. No, I probably would. I would. Of course, I would do whatever it took to survive. But I'm just thinking to myself, you don't know, right? Like I didn't know what entrepreneurship was. I didn't know what, being self-employed was. I didn't know that world until I became exposed to it, until I started surrounding myself amongst the people that were doing it. And once I got a taste of it, once I got a taste of freedom, in a sense to where if I want to take a vacation for a week, I can literally do business in Hawaii, in Puerto Rico, in wherever the heck they have internet. And even if they don't have internet, if they got a phone, the world has changed and evolved so much that you can literally do whatever your heart desires. You just got to figure out a way of who is going to pay you for that talent and skill, so that you can be able to survive, so that you can be able to live life on your own terms. Yeah.
Well, let's make this practical for people too, because this is once again, I hope you guys understand. I'm not trying to discourage anyone from doing entrepreneurship, nor am I I'm not trying to steer you either way.
No.
I think the goal here is just to keep it real. Right. Yes. To keep it 100.
I will be the advocate to be like, what's your superpower? Let's figure out how to make some money off of it so we can leave the job and let's go.
Yeah.
I'm the advocate.
Yes. But I think even still, what I hear you saying with that is still being in control. Right. So however we can figure out for you to be in control, that's what we want to do. Absolutely. So, but the one thing, like I keep coming back to is, when it's all on you, I don't know that people really understand what that really means. And what I mean by that is, this is a lot of hard work.
So hard work.
I mean, if you thought that your job working overtime and all that stuff, is like, I don't know, depending on whatever job you have, there's tons of jobs and sometimes you work long hours. There's something uniquely different about being an entrepreneur in those hours, because they're all on you. Yes. Like it's a different type of of commitment, because I think about it. I was like, when I was struggling initially as an entrepreneur, I was like, man, like, why am I struggling? Because I realized, okay, I'm just being real. I'm spending 8 hours here in my office and probably only about 1 to 2 hours actually working because I'm actually I'm doing other stuff and I'm not really focused, right? But when I got focused and I actually put in a good 4 to 6 solid focus hours, I was amazed about how much
conquer the world.
You really can. There's so much.
You probably did a month's worth of work in those 4 hours.
Yeah. So here's the thing though. So I started thinking about it. I said, okay, so I need to like put on my work hat every day. Like entrepreneurship is not about me getting into my office and be like, I can do whatever I want for 8 hours, right? It really is about having that discipline of saying, no. There's certain things I need to make sure in my mind, I keep thinking about moving the ball like up the hill or whatever, just continue to push it, continue to make progress. I have to do that every day. Every day I have to push this ball. Every day I have to because if I don't, the ball's going to start crawling back on me.
And then you got to start all over again.
You got to start over.
Yeah. Did you see when I posted on my Facebook story about momentum? This is another reason why I'm feeling extra good this week. I went back to Driveway. I went back to Driveway Fitness because your girl took a break off and I was like not feeling right. And I'm like, I need this back in my life. And it's so true. When you stop doing something consistently, it's literally starting all over again. And I just remember, I'm like, okay, it's cool that I'm running 3 miles. That's cool. That is not the same as lifting some weights. I was so exhausted from that workout. It was 1 hour workout, not even, it was like 55-minute workout. But I'm like, what is going on right now? It's because I took 6 weeks off. Every time you take these breaks, every time you pause, every time you stop doing whatever it is that you're doing, you are breaking and you're losing that momentum. It's like that ball. If you're constantly at it, pushing that ball up, and then you stop and you give up, there goes the ball right back down the hill again. Now you got to start all over. And now it takes even more work. No, we got to just keep on going. We keep on going. But I think, a lot of it has to do with also too, is maybe the fear of the unknown, the fear of the unknown and saying, well, what if this doesn't work out? What if I try and it doesn't work? No, if you are trying and doing daily, consistently, every single day, in a few months, it's going to work. Yeah. It's going to work.
Talk to me a little bit about that. Cause I believe, what I've noticed is there's a mixture of, not only hard work, focus, determination, all those good things, but also I think it takes some faith.
That's a whole lot of faith. We need to put these in order. Faith, definitely first. Definitely first. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Because we're going to all have definitely a lot of praying, but we're all going to have the moments. We're going to have our bad days. I mean, I had a bad day last week. I said, Charles, give me a moment. Give me a moment. Let me just be in my little office by myself until I get over this. And then like an hour, I'm like, okay, I'm good. We're good. Yep. And it's understanding, that it is okay to have those downward moments, but you got to have faith that there is a reason that hurdle came into place. There's a reason why that roadblock came into place. And every time I get a roadblock, I will always say to myself, it's just God's way of saying, Eva, how bad do you want it? You're going to have this roadblock, but how bad do you want whatever it is that you're striving for? What is it going to take to get through that roadblock? Do I have to break the wall? Can I jump over it? Can I go around it? Can I call some friends and piggyback off of them to get over it? Like, how are we going to get around this? See, most people will let that roadblock just stay there and they'll just turn right back around and go back to their comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one thing I've learned too, just in terms of when the roadblocks present themselves, I have to figure out, is this something I fight? Right? Is this something I fight, or is this something that I jump over? Do I go around it? Right? But you got to deal with it. Yes. Right? That's one thing you got to do. You got to deal with it. And as an entrepreneur, you don't get to punt the ball. You don't get to,
you don't get to call out sick and just show up the next day and get paid.
Have somebody else do it. when I was a principal, you know, and because I was the CEO, I was the top, people could do that to me. Right. So, I mean, I couldn't necessarily do that. But when, you know, someone wasn't feeling well or, you know, whatever, they were just like, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it, basically. And I had to figure out a way that it still got done.
Yep.
Right. It was on me. Right. And because of the hierarchy, you know, I guess you could argue that even if I didn't get it done, there would be somebody else because, you know, they have a whole system. But for the most part, the buck stopped with me. But that trained me for entrepreneurship because, you know, man, if I don't do it, if we don't do it, it ain't gonna get done. And that's something that some people are not comfortable with.
Yeah.
But if you want this entrepreneurship and you think, I mean, I just want people to understand what they're signing up for whenever they sign up for stuff, because sometimes, you know, we see it, we get enticed. We think about big picture, like, oh, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
In a few years, I'll have a Bentley, or in 6 months, I'm going to have $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
I don't know. It took me 18 months of giving up 1 hour every single day. And even then I was like, should I quit my job or should I commute?
Yeah.
There was still doubt. Still doubt. But what I learned was I wasn't in control. Like for somebody else, for a boss to be in control over my time, which affected me mentally, physically, affected my household, took me away from my kids and my husband. I'm like, I cannot let anybody have that much control over me. No, we out of here. Adios, deuces. And then because I left, there was definitely no turning back, because I wasn't going to, like, if the network marketing company in that business was not successful, I wasn't going to go crawling back to the job. So I had to make it work. I had to make it work. No matter how many people call me crazy, no matter how many people say, no, that those things don't work. No matter how many people were like, no. Now, like, people are like, you know, the other day, people were like, you know, Eva, like, there's so many credit repair services and people that are out there. Like, do you feel like, how do you feel about that? Like, you know, there's so much competition. And I'm like, I don't see competition. Like that's like me saying there's so many nurses in the world, I'm not going to be a nurse. Mm-hmm. Or there's so many electricians in the world, I'm not going to be an electrician. Each person is unique. Each person has their own talent and skill. It doesn't matter how many other people are doing what you do. What matters is how are you going to strive in excellence to be able to build your own business, or maybe contribute your ideas and you partner with somebody to then create a business. Like, you don't have to be the boss. You just got to find somebody who can be the boss, but you collab and now boom, business is created. Right? But we can't get stuck in that mindset of what if it doesn't work? That fear. No. Don't let that cloud your judgment, because, man, there's just so many people out here that you can help with whatever talent or skill you have.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing too, I think that's helpful around this too for folks, because I think you've done a good job of letting them know, like, hey, this is the reality of it. These are the things you need. You need, you know, faith, hard work, all those things, right? And you need to accept certain realities. Like, you're not going to get paid. No one cares about if you're successful or not, right? Yeah. It's all on you, right? But the thing is too, I think that one thing that has kind of transformed me, and you kind of talked about this in terms of, you're saying that even if it didn't work out, you couldn't see yourself necessarily going back to a job. You just figure out another business, right? To try to, and that's the thing that I think is different about when you're on this side of it. You start looking at things differently. Like now, when I think about,
you find other ways to build another business, or create another stream of income.
Exactly.
I don't know if all entrepreneurs like this, but I'm pretty sure most entrepreneurs have multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I do. Mm-hmm. If this didn't work, like, I know what else I got going for me. And even if this is working, I still got other things working. Yeah. Like, we just find ways to adapt and, like, okay, ooh, this sounds good right about now. Mm-hmm. Let's start investing here.
Yeah. So talk about that just a little bit. I don't want to get too far into that. I think that's another podcast episode, to be honest, in terms of the different streams. But if you could just mention, because you have a few other streams that would pretty much, I mean, would equal someone's yearly pay. You know, you have some other streams that you do this thing and it would pretty much be about what somebody gets paid for a year. Talk to them, just a little bit about just a few of those things so they can kind of get them in their mind. Like, okay, so even if because I want to think this, even if you're working a 9 to 5, right? And you're saying, okay, I don't necessarily want to become a business owner. I don't want to start another side hustle. What are some other things they could do that would still make, the equivalent of a full-time salary, and you're not necessarily a business owner?
Yeah, absolutely. They can make investments. I mean, I choose, in terms of our investing, I choose real estate as our method of investing. I know there's tons of other investment options that are out there, but I am so comfortable. We're talking about no comfort zones, right? I am so comfortable with investing in real estate. And other people are like, I ain't touching that. I'm comfortable in stocks. I'm comfortable in crypto. I'm comfortable in this. And at the end of the day, I mean, 2 years ago, I wasn't comfortable in real estate, but because I got around the right people with the right information, that started opening my mind, started opening my eyes and my ears more and more, that now all I see is real estate opportunities. Same for, the stock people or the crypto people, they are in it. They're investing, they're learning. I'm sure they're not just going to be like, let me just take $10,000 and put it into this thing. No, they're studying. Mm-hmm. They're probably spending countless hours trying to figure out all of those crazy up and down chart thingies that I'm just like, that is superpower. Like my brain cannot wrap my mind around that, but other people do.
Yeah.
Right? So at the end of the day, it's a matter of knowing that there are other ways you can create other streams of income. Some are going to take a lot more effort, some very little effort, but it's going to take effort. You definitely shouldn't, from a financial standpoint, you shouldn't just be handing over your money to somebody else who says this is a good idea. You need to study. You need to research. You need to deep dive in whatever it is that you think is going to make you money. You got to figure out exactly how is it going to make you money so that you're not losing money by mistake.
Yeah. So just for example, like one of your real estate investments, I think it yielded over 50, right?
Yeah, about 55 profits.
So $55,000. I know it took a little bit, about a year or so.
Yep.
But there you go. That's a yearly salary right there that you weren't necessarily punching in a clock doing 9 to 5 to get. Right.
True. Absolutely. And while, some people are like, oh my gosh, Eva, it took you 14 months to do that. Like, shouldn't flips take like 4 months or 6 months? I'm like, yeah. But on the upside, where else can you invest $20,000 to get back $70,000 in 13 months?
There you go. I
mean, I'm sure there's other things, but that's what I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else can do that, but
that's a great example. And I think that's that's the part of looking for opportunities like that. Cause now, you've got other opportunities that you're doing. And
we get better. We get better. We evolve. We've tasted it. We saw what we've experienced, what that could do. Okay. Now what's the next move? What else is out there that we can either do just like this, or maybe in a faster speed, or maybe a little bit more investment for a greater return?
Yep.
But yeah, like I didn't have to clock in and out. I didn't have to like deal with the boss. I mean, I definitely had to deal with stuff, but I didn't have to like spend, I don't know, how many hours is that in a year? How many hours would I have had to work to make that type of money I didn't actually work?
The traditional, I think it's over 2,000 hours, I think, for like, if you were to put in 40 hours a week,
times 52
weeks, that's 2,080 hours.
Yeah.
So there you go. You definitely put that kind of time in to make that money.
Definitely didn't. I don't even think I put in 40 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, like consecutive, like for real, 40 hours, like maybe an hour here, an hour there, an hour there, you know?
Yeah. And you didn't have to necessarily be an entrepreneur to do that, right? That had nothing to do with your entrepreneurship.
No, I wasn't a contractor. I mean, I'm pretty sure it probably would have helped, but like I wasn't a licensed contractor. I wasn't, the inspector coming in, looking at the property. I wasn't familiar with the products that were used. Like I wasn't a tile expert, I mean, but I partnered with people who knew. I partnered with people who this is what they do. And this is why we were able to make that type of investment and actually make money.
Yeah. And I'll just give people one other one that Eva has. Eva has, I'm not gonna go through all hers, but just one other one that she has, which I think is really interesting too. And I'm definitely not there yet, but every time she talks about it and then talks about the return, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's kind of hint Johnsy, like, you want to do this? But anyway, your Frenchies, right?
Yeah.
So, I think you've had one litter already.
Yeah.
And now you're working on a second one.
Yeah.
And just once again, the first litter, if you could just give people like, a little bit about what that process was and how much you earned and how long it took, so they can just see that there's tons of options out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's nuts. So, yes, we have a French bulldog and her name is Paris. And we love her. We love her to death. But again, like this wasn't even on the radar. Somebody that is in my network marketing business, she breeds the German Shepherd dog. And she's been breeding the German Shepherd for over 40 years. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, I've never been fond of German Shepherds. I think they're too big. Like, we can have a dog bigger than our kids, whatever. Then she started getting involved with the French Bulldog. But even then, I was closed-minded because we had always been a pit bull family, a blue-nosed pit bull. We had a beautiful dog. She got sick and she passed away. And I said, never again am I ever going to have any animals, because it was so heart-wrenching. When we lost her, like it's horrible. Anyways, so every now and then she would just send me videos, cute puppy videos. Come over, like come check out the dogs. Nah. She was trying to get me to buy a dog. And I'm like, she is so slick. But I've only known French bulldogs to be tan, black, brown, black and tan. And then when I go to her house, like these are different color Frenchies. They call them blue, where they're gray. Mm-hmm. And then some of them have big spots. And then some of them have little spots. And I'm like, these are the cutest little things. Like, what in the world? So then she started educating me on like the whole lines. Now she's a certified vet tech, so she knows her stuff. She's been breeding dogs for a very, very long time. So she like literally educated me. And I'm like, how much do these dogs make you? Paris's first litter, which French bulldogs on average, when they have a litter, it's usually between 3, maybe 5 pups. Mm. We were blessed. Paris had 8 pups.
Wow.
8 pups. And because of the color and the pattern of these dogs, the lowest priced dog was $5,000 and the highest priced dog was $9,500.
Wow.
And her total litter, which I'm like, who in the world is going to spend this type of money on these dogs? Well, first of all, I invested and I bought Paris. So clearly I'm a crazy person. But I also thought to myself, if I'm going to spend money on this dog, like it needs to make his money back. Sure enough, her first litter yielded $42,000.
Wow.
One litter. Now, granted, it's one litter. I mean, I don't know. I'm still learning because that was her one litter. She's currently pregnant right now. Like literally like any day this week, she's going to have puppies. And I don't know, like all I know is based on that experience, she had the litter last year and then she had this litter this year. So it's not like they can be having litters like every month. Yeah. Like, it's cycles, it's timing, it's all of this stuff. So it's not like you could, maybe you could live off of this type of income, but this is just an added source. It's an added source of revenue that comes in, and it comes in once a year.
Well, still, I mean, respectfully, I think there's still people out there that are, obviously making $42,000 a year. And,
yes.
That's, that for some
right?
people, that's fine. Right.
Right. And let's talk about that. So, and how long, I mean, I don't even know if this is how long all dogs have puppies or, are pregnant for, but she's pregnant for 63 days. So just think about it. 63 days.
Yep.
And then you have pups. You got to take care of the pups.
Yep.
No joke. Having pups, and thank goodness, because I've got beautiful family, hubby, boys. They all helped with the puppies. You got to make sure these puppies survive another 2 months.
Mm.
So because, in the state of California, you can't let them go home until they're at least 8 weeks old and go through all of the vet checkups and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But think about it. Okay. 2 months, 4-month time frame, making about, let's just say 40,000 in 4 months out the year. In some households, you can replace income. You would be working for 4 months, and the other 8 months, you can do whatever the heck your little heart desires. That's only one litter. Like, imagine if you had 2 dogs, 2 females, and have litter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
And that, like, then I started learning more about Frenchies. I thought $9,500 was expensive. They got $30,000 Frenchies out there. I'm like, what? Yes. Yes. Okay. Different colors. They've got what's called, Google it, my friends. Go on Instagram, search for fluffy Frenchies.
There it is.
I'm like, I need to get me a fluffy Frenchie.
Okay. All right. So the point I'm making though, because I just, I think that we, part of this community that we're building, which has been just amazing. And I'm going to give you a chance in a moment here to just shout out our Lions and just how amazing they've been. But the thing is, what I really wanted to just encourage folks around, because right now I see so many of them making moves. I mean,
so many. I am like, what in the world is going on? Like, people are literally just moving and moving. Like, they finish one and now they go on to the next, and now the next, and now the next. And I'm like,
they're hungry. And they're improving their finances. They're improving their credit. They're knocking things out. That's right.
They're eating. They got a whole table full of like a 5-course meal. I'm like,
so I know it's so dope. And so I know entrepreneurship is next. I know it is.
Oh, it is.
And so, but I really wanted to talk to them for 2 things. Once again, I want to encourage them to, if they want to do it, go ahead and do it. But I want to keep it real. That's one thing that we've been doing. That's part of the brand, right? When it comes to credit repair, we don't do that, right? We don't do the traditional, stuff. You have laid it out. This is exactly how we approach it. And we keep it 100% with you.
Yep.
You don't want to go this route of just kind of deleting things, so to speak. The reason why is because of all these other reasons. So here's a genuine way. It's more of a, hard working kind of roll up your sleeves kind of way. Yep. But this is how you really get out of this. Right. And so we've been very transparent about that approach when it comes to entrepreneurship, because we're also looking to help people, because, hey, EmpowerYou, we're listening to you guys. We're hearing you say, hey, we want y'all to give us more. Right.
Yeah.
And we want to help. Right. And so me and Eva are actively, now I'll kind of tease it a little bit. We're actively thinking about how we can combine forces, because one thing I'm doing is the branding and the marketing and all that. And I'm not just helping Eva, I'm actually helping lots of different other people as well. But how can we combine this for our Lions, right? How can we can figure this thing out? And Eva has been doing some stuff that she's been kind of testing on certain people, but it's been going really well in terms of, helping them build their business and their business credit and things like that. So we're trying to figure out like, okay, well, how can we put all this together for it to make sense for our Lions? Because we see you guys are so hungry and you're knocking things out. You have the exact tenacity, the determination, the faith, all the different things, the components that you need to actually be successful and to, have a business that's thriving. So we want to be able to help. We want to be able to share with you the blueprint all together. So Eva, before we go, I just wanted to give you another opportunity just to kind of encourage people around this. because, they're looking at it and they're like, man, it just seems so hard. Like, I don't know if I can do it. What would you say to them, especially in the context of, knowing everything that we have to offer, knowing everything that's out there for people, and also knowing the type of lions and the people that are listening, the type of people that we have, what would you say to them to encourage them to say, hey, this is something that's possible?
Absolutely. Entrepreneurship is possible. You just got to get started. Get started as little as listening to a certain podcast, listening to a certain mentor, listening to or hanging around other business-minded people. Go to these networking events. Now that the world is like pretty much open now, have eyes and ears open and find these type of networking events. I always thought to myself, how are people like socializing at 12 in the afternoon? They don't got bosses. They are the boss. So they can socialize at 12 in the afternoon.
That's right.
So you might want to just take your lunch during that time to see what it is they have so that you can figure out how to get it too. But you got to stay consistent and persistent. Put in those hours, put in those days to find a skill, better your craft, surround yourself amongst those other business owners so that you too can develop another income source. Everybody needs to have multiple incomes. You cannot rely on one. You rely on one, you are handcuffed to that person, that job, that thing. Most business owners have multiple streams. Why? Because once you get good at creating one, you're going to want to create some more. And if you feel you don't have enough information or you don't think that you are talented enough, you don't have to be. Go find somebody who needs what you have, partner up, and build a business together. Guys, go out there and do it. We're having so much fun. But most importantly, if you've got questions, chances are we can help. If we can't help, we can point you in the right direction.
Absolutely. And so before we go too, I just want to kind of give you an opportunity as well to just give people an update on the Lions Club. We got some things coming down the pipe.
Yes.
There's going to be some changes in a couple of months. So before we start making those changes, and what I mean by changes, I'm talking about just giving you guys more value.
Improvements.
Improvement.
120th.
That's right. That's right. We are looking to, just continue to grow this thing. So, but for now, just, can you just share people just kind of how things been going? I mean, I think we're almost at 100 people, right?
Yeah. We actually should be at 100 because I've got 2 people that haven't quite entered the actual Facebook group. So I'm like, hey, get in so we can have that nice, beautiful 100 locked down.
Nice. So talk to people about how things been going, some of the wins people have been having, and also, like how can they be a part? Because, still a question. People are still like wondering, like, how do I become a part of the Lions Club? Like, what's that about?
Guys, first off, attend tonight's webinar. If you haven't followed me on Facebook, you haven't seen it in the group, do me a favor, message me directly. I will get you the link. You got to tune into the webinar so that you can get the full experience of what this program is all about. There are so many people winning. Just this last month, 3 people not only purchased vehicles, they purchased the vehicle at the price they wanted to pay, at the interest rate they wanted to pay, and got the vehicle they wanted to drive. Why? Because they're getting the information that's needed to be able to choose what their own payment can look like and how to truly live life on their own terms, being 100% in control. There's people that are paying off debt even faster. Just over the weekend, somebody sent me a screenshot of one of her unpaid collections offering a settlement of over $7,000 in savings. Guys, I mean, I don't even know. The stories go on, and you probably will be seeing them on Facebook because I get tagged all the time. But this is now more than ever. This is the right time to get on the webinar, get in front of us so that we can not only help you with credit, but literally help you with all of your finances. Somebody just did a cash out refi, lowered their interest rate by 2 percentage points, saving $800 a month. Cash out refi is now giving them the ability to take that money and invest in real estate so we can make that money duplicate and triple and just, it's nuts, guys. I don't even know. It's crazy, but you got to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's it. Get to the webinar. We have them when this drops. We have one that night. They also are coming. We have them. Pretty much a couple times a month. Yep. So make sure you attend. We'd love to see you. And that's pretty much it. I think it's a wrap.
Oh, let me quickly shout out Azeta for dropping us a 5-star rating on the podcast.
Ooh, yes.
Yes. And we have another one coming. I think it takes like 1 or 2 days before they actually post, but definitely shout out to Azeta for giving us a 5-star, because she literally is like, I don't know what I would do without you. By the way, we helped her posture and helping her get business credits. She's just loving it. She was like, I have no idea. I had no idea like how much is out there that I can get my hands on. And because of this exposure is why she's in this position. So shout out to Zeta. We love you.
Yes. Shout out to Zeta. And also, if it's for you who are listening, please leave us a rating, please, 5-star rating, go to Apple, make sure you leave a comment, drop some feedback. We love to hear from you. We really appreciate all the listeners. You guys help us out. We're looking to expand. We're looking to grow this thing. And the more you guys share and let people know that you like it, the more, we get the right people's attention to get more stuff out for you guys. So, me and Eva, we sacrifice a lot to make sure we get this to you guys every week. This is one in particular that has needed much coordination, but we're making sure that we get into you guys every week. So please do that. We really appreciate it. So I think that's pretty much it. Any other announcements, any other things, Eva, before we go?
That's all I can think of, other than get on the webinar, guys. It's about to shift. And when we shift, people are going to go crazy.
That's right. Very true. Very true. All right, y'all. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Empower You Financial with Eva Palacios. One of the things that Eva enjoys most about being in personal finance is seeing people win. So if you are looking to improve your credit score because you're ready to make a major purchase, get better rates, or start living life on your own terms, visit Eva at evaempowers.com and schedule a consultation with her so you too can live life empowered.